once I got into this world, I realized we're in an epidemic of weight loss resistance. This just isn't happening to a small select few. This is happening to countless women across the board.
Here's JJ Virgin, triple board certified nutrition and fitness expert and 4-time New York Times best-selling author. It's time to reignite wellness.
So I actually trademarked this phrase, your body isn't a bank account, it's a chemistry lab, because I'm on a mission to change the way that we think about weight loss, the calories in, calories out model. Like, why has this not been blown up yet? Well, we're going to blow it up today on this show. I've got Karen Martel with me. She is a certified transformational nutrition coach and a women's weight loss expert and founder of the On Track Women's Hormone Balancing and Weight Loss Program. She also has a podcast, The Other Side of Weight Loss. And this all came through her struggling with her own health issues. And I always think that's the best place to start. And so she helps women break through weight loss resistance and find their own personal weight loss coach. She's got a super cool quiz with meal plans that she is sharing with all of us that you can get at jjvirgin.com/variety. And you'll understand when you're on the interview why I picked variety as the cool thing to do. So there's that. All right. I am going to do a shout out right now to Core Training Pilates. 5 stars, says, love these talks on my walks. I'm a Pilates trainer and business owner. JJ's talks are so informative that I often share many bits of info with my clients. JJ and our guests have great advice, but have fun while giving it. Keep it up. Thank you. These shout outs are like my fave thing to do. So I would love to shout you out. So if you're listening, rate and review and leave your name so I can shout you out too. And now I'm going to share another favorite, and then I'll be back to talk about how to break through weight loss resistance. Stay with me. Hey, Karen, welcome. Glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me, JJ. I'm excited to be here.
Well, we always love to talk about weight loss. Always. It's my favorite subject of all. And before we dig into, we're going to talk weight loss plateaus and diet variation, all sorts of cool stuff. What got you into this?
Well, of course, my journey started after having children. Doesn't that happen to so many women? It's like you have kids and boom, your body does not cooperate any longer. So that happened to me. I had my first child, lost the pregnancy weight right away. And then about a year and a half later, I just started gaining weight for no reason. I was always a pretty healthy eater, and I started gaining weight, and I was doing what, every woman's told to do. And I was exercising, I calorie counted, I tried
Yeah, that works so well.
So good. I literally
Isn't it crazy that
diet.
This does not work? And yet it's still it's like, when is that urban legend going to die? Like, if you look at just the research on caloric restriction, and back in the day when I was first starting in all this 30 plus years ago, it was like, create a 500 calorie deficit. And it was like, your body's a bank account. And I was like, it's not working. Like, it's not working for any of my clients. And in fact, I had one client who was the classic one that this happens to when they go on that long-term caloric restriction, is she'd so downshifted her metabolism that she went over 1,000 calories a day. She gained weight. Yeah. I mean, it was so awful. So, I mean, what do we know about that? If you cut calories like that, your body downshifts. So it's like, not only does it not work, it really messes you up. Like, it's just, blah. All right. So you discovered that our bodies are not a bank account.
No.
And then what happened?
I started working out harder than I had ever worked out.
Of course you did. That's what I'll do next.
In the boot camp. I was just doing it all, and I continued gaining weight, and I also continued getting a whole other slew of issues, from chronic migraines, insomnia, low sex drive. I had a big belly on me. It was all in my gut. I mean, I'm in my early 30s. Okay. So,
and of course your friends are thinking that you're eating like donuts.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yes. And I just
She's
kept
cheating.
thinking, I gotta cut back on the food I'm eating, or it's the diet. And I
So pretty
finally
much you're
just
eating
got,
like a gerbil or a hamster at some point. And
I mean, it ended up that I did kind of find my way of eating, which we can talk about. But what it came down to was I decided that I had a hormone problem after doing all. I'm a researcher, and I just started digging into it because nobody seemed to be able to help me. I read every diet book, I did all the exercise, nothing was working. So I dug in, and I'm like, I think I've got a hormone
yeah.
problem. Is this possible at 33? And sure enough, I got my hormones tested, and I had too high estrogen, I had too low progesterone, I had all of these cortisol problems, DHEA problems. I mean, I looked like I was
But let's
probably, I
did
don't
you go
know.
to any doctors during this time with
Oh
all
yeah.
of these things going sideways and no one suggested that possibly it was a hormonal issue, was something with your chemistry lab, not your
Well, like my doctor, bless her heart, she's actually great,
Oh
and
my gosh, you're from Canada, not the South. Did you just say
bless
I'm
her
living in the
heart,
South
she's
now,
so
so it's
great.
bless her heart. I was
Bless
like,
her heart, JJ.
I was like, that's got a little underlying meaning to it. Yeah,
She's
bless her
so
heart.
great. I
Uh,
do. I just bless her heart because she's so great. Like
in the South, that's not what they
I
mean when they
emailed
say
her
bless her
yesterday.
heart, by the way.
Oh, really? Oh,
Oh
I didn't know.
no. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm Canadian, everyone.
All right, she's Canadian. You can hear it with the boat. So
She tested my TSH. She didn't test anything past that. I didn't get progesterone or estrogen, cortisol, especially back then. That's
yeah.
not at 33, they're not going to do that.
Mhm.
My naturopath had agreed. He thought, okay, well, yeah, okay, let's test your hormones. And he's great. And so we tested my hormones, and sure enough, I had all these problems. And then my doctor got on board. But it wasn't till 8 years later did my doctor actually find the thyroid problem even. So it just was like, and it's not only that, JJ, there was so much other stuff going on. There was a lot of stress in my life. I was a single mom, that whole gig.
Yeah.
I had a lot of emotional garbage that I also had to deal with that
Imagine
came
that.
out at the same time. Like it was all of this like kind of perfect storm that I had to
Yeah.
suddenly deal with. And it wasn't a quick fix. It wasn't a 30-day lose 20 pounds because I found my hormone solution. No, this was a 2-year journey of figuring out what my body needed to eat, what my hormones needed, and what my emotional and spiritual side needed as well.
Yes. And that is why it is so critical. All my friends are doctors, and doctors, you want to have your team, your health team, but you're the CEO of it, and you have to lead the team because no one's in your body with you. And so you've got to be so super clear on the symptoms. And like the first time, like I actually knew when my thyroid started to go down because I'd been teaching classes on weight loss resistance for years. So I was like going, oh, thyroid, I knew when my estrogen went down. And that's what we really have to get to. We have to understand like, okay, here's my ideal normal, not my crappy normal. Here's where I feel ideally, right? Like, and because I think most people, don't you agree, Karen, have no idea what feeling good feels like.
I was
Like they
just
have no
going to say
idea.
that.
Like they have
No.
no idea.
No.
So they're like going, oh, but it's normal for me to wake up 5 times during the night. It's normal for me to be bloated after a meal. I'm like, no, it's not normal. No, it's not. So, all right. So you go on this journey. You've taken this in, become the researcher, become the CEO of your body. Then what happens?
So I lost the weight. And at the time I was doing I did body work. I did something called Rolfing.
Yep.
And I did the deep tissue body work. And I started to notice people's body as when there was something wrong. Like I could tell when someone had a food sensitivity.
Oh, you're a
just
Rolfer.
touching their
like
body.
you do Rolfing.
I did. Yes. For 17 years.
Such an amazing therapy that like, why isn't
so
that
amazing.
Everywhere? It's incredible.
Because it hurts.
I know, but it does. It's like
so
amazing. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Okay.
Yes. 17 years I did that. And I started to notice when women would have hormone imbalance, when they had food sensitivities by the stuff they would tell me and me working on their body. And then because I had gone through this transition myself, I was like starting to counsel people on this. And it was just a natural, like, you know what, if I went through this, there's got to be how many other women that feel as though they're doing everything right. They're exercising, they're eating well, they're healthy people, and they still can't lose weight. And once I got into this world, I realized we're in an epidemic of weight loss resistance. This just isn't happening to a small select few. This is happening to countless women across the board.
Yep. I remember early on, I was on Dr. Phil's weight loss challenges, leading him through, and he had a chapter in his book called Weight Loss Resistance. This was, now, I don't know, 14 years ago. And it was all about insulin resistance, but it made me start to look at, because I already knew that it wasn't a calorie thing. It was like, all right, what are the other things? Insulin's one, cortisol's one, sex hormones are one, all of the issues going on with your GI, or like there's so many things when you start to get into it that can create problems. And the inability to lose weight is just a symptom. Like we all tend to think this is the thing. I go, that's not the thing. Like that's a sign that there's things going wrong, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And
exactly.
we got to get to that, because I think there's so much shame and judgment around weight. And what I discovered early on is people who are trying to lose weight were usually the most knowledgeable.
Yes.
They were eating healthier than the average person. I mean, it was like, but
and spent more money on programs and doctors and naturopaths. And I just talked to a woman yesterday. She was like, I have spent so much money and so much time. Not one person has ever told me it spent my hormones. And she went and here she is, the classic hormone imbalance.
I used to teach a course for doctors called Overcoming Weight Loss Resistance for a couple of years prior to the Virgin Diet. That was with the trademark line, Your Body's Not a Bank Account, it's a chemistry lab, teaching them all the areas that could get in the way of you losing weight or cause you to gain weight. So people would get off this idea that, I'm sure there's the person who's sitting, and I talked to the doctor who was the doctor for The Biggest Loser, and he goes, no, it is just these people are not exercising enough. I haven't been exercising at least an hour. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're the problem. You're the problem, dude. You man there who's never had a weight issue in your life, who has a judgment, prejudice against anyone who's overweight, believing that they're just sitting home, lying on the couch, eating cupcakes. Yeah. And that is not, that's the 1% of the people that I ever see who are struggling. So, all right.
Exactly.
So with all of this finding, tell me now where you're at with this. Cause I know now that you've really gotten into this. So you moved out of raw thing and became a transformational nutritionist.
Yes, I did. And I started working with women specifically on weight loss resistance. And I have now in the last year or so, of course, dove into a lot of the low carb dieting stuff, right? Ketogenic. I've always been my diet is paleo. I've been on paleo since that time when I first figured all of this out. And I realized that was the diet that made me feel best. That wasn't challenging. I didn't have to calorie count. It took no willpower. And in the last year, probably 2 years, I've been helping women with the lower kind of ketogenic type style diets, because as you know, they're all the rage. And in the last probably 6 months or so, I have been seeing a lot of repercussions coming out of this low carb movement. And I started to kind of pile together all of my, research as far as what does it really take to lose weight and keep it off. We've got, on one hand, we've got a lot of people that are saying, you need carbohydrates in order for your metabolism to run properly. And then you have the low carbers that are saying something completely different. All you need is ketones, and this is, will make you quickly lose weight, et cetera, which it does. But what we're seeing is a weight loss stall almost across the board for every single person that I have put on a ketogenic diet at some point, and usually quite early, 3 to 6 months, they hit a stall. And it stops. And this is when we're talking weight loss plateau. So not only is it weight loss resistance, but it's a serious weight loss plateau as well. And so what is happening here? That is kind of where what the road I am going down now is what is happening. Why do we hit this weight loss stall on these low carb diets? And what is happening to the metabolism?
Okay. So the question is, why are we hitting this stall? What's going on?
So with the low carb movement, for all of you that have tried it or on it, you know that it really stamps out hunger. I think here's the challenge with low carb.
is, let's define it, because low carb could be 40% carbohydrates. But when we're talking a ketogenic diet, that's not what we're talking about. Because that's still classically, I always like when they say it's a high protein diet. And I'm like, no, it's not. High
No, it's
protein
not.
would have to be like 60%. Like, this is not a high protein diet. And, so when you look at low carb could be a 40% carb diet, 30%, 20%, 10%. And those are very markedly different in how your body handles things and what energy system it's going to use primarily for fuel. So when you're talking low carb, you're really talking more in like the 10% range, right?
Yes, but I also see it in just simply low carb when people are going under that 50 total a day. People, so that can be ketogenic, but it can also be Atkins, and it can some higher protein diets. I've seen it happen as well. Even with paleo, I've seen it when people are going too low carb with paleo, depending on who they are, of course. But definitely in when we're talking straight up ketogenic, when you're like 70% of your calories is coming from fat, 100%, your appetite becomes extremely suppressed. And this is the beauty of it, and also the downfall of it, because people will lose a ton of weight right off the get-go. So you can see people that, I lost 10 pounds my first week and 20 pounds my first month and 30, and it's this massive weight loss for the first couple months.
Well, they're also keeping their glycogen stores low. So when you look at what the ketogenic diet's going to do, yes, it's going to suppress appetite, which seems great, but we're supposed to have an appetite. And right. And then we'll lose our carbohydrate stores in our muscles, which carbohydrates bind with water to store as glycogen in your muscles. So that weighs something. So some of that's like, okay, well, what did you really lose? Did you lose fat? What are you losing? Right. So, all right. So what are you seeing then as the repercussions, and what is you talk about diet variation. So let's get into like, how do you break that plateau? What are you seeing as the repercussions of someone who's in this type of diet it's not the most effective for, et cetera?
So what we see start to happen is calorie intake starts to go down farther and farther. And so it works in the beginning, because it's true, when in a calorie deficit in the beginning, your body will lose weight. And so as you go into it farther, your caloric intake tends to go down. I just talked to a woman yesterday who was like, all proud of herself because she ate only 2 meals a day, and she wanted to stick with that because that's what worked for her, even though I'm like, not working because you're coming to see me. But she was down to 700 calories a day and had been doing that for a year, and was wondering why she didn't have a metabolism anymore. And she thought this was normal. But JJ, you go onto the forums right now, on the keto forums, and you hear it everywhere. These people saying, I'm down to 1 meal a day. I'm fasting for however many hours. I fast for 2 days out of the week. I fast here, I fast there. Fasting is great. It can help you to lose weight. But if you start doing it every single day, and now your caloric intake is down to 500 to 700 calories a day, it is inevitable that your metabolism will slow down to meet that caloric intake, period. It doesn't matter. So, but in our heads, and especially in women, we're like, oh my gosh, but it works so well.
Less is more.
And they hold on to it. They hold on to it, but it works so good. So less is more. Let's cut down on the carbs farther. So, let's go to carnivore. Let's start fasting more.
Okay, stop for a second. Like, so I got to tell you, I've heard a little bit about the carnivore thing, but I've really kind of stayed out of this whole thing, because I was like, the carnivore diet, it reminds me of something when I was on Freaky Eaters. We had a guy who would only eat meat, and especially loved raw meat. That was all he would eat. That is it. All he would eat. Yeah, it was absolutely nasty. I'm assuming that's what the carnivore diet is. Is that what it is? That they're only eating meat? Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And given, like, I interviewed someone called Dr. Sean Baker, who's this massive weightlifting guy. He's a doctor.
But where are they getting their fiber? What about their
he's
gut
just
microbiome?
Straight. All he eats is beef. That's it.
Wow.
For 2 years. Dr. Ken Berry. There's many that swear by it. It's really great for autoimmune conditions. It's great for the brain. It can work for people with anxiety and depression. But it's not for everybody. No. And there are long-term, actually, they don't know if there's long-term repercussions.
Yeah, we wouldn't know yet. But it's I would just look at, like, where's your fiber and your antioxidants. But anyway, all right. So I digress. I just want to pull in that.
Yeah.
Okay. So So what is your recommendation then? Like if someone's hitting this plateau because they've now really hijacked their metabolism by lowering their caloric intake and slowing everything down, what do they do?
So you you still fasting, caloric restriction works for weight loss. But if you do it too much, you're going to lower your metabolism. So it's finding this happy medium of, correcting your insulin resistance, things like that, and tapping into your fat stores to burn. You want to do those things, but then you want to cycle out of it and tell your body, hey, we're fine. There's no fat, we're not in a famine. There's plenty around. You don't need to lower the metabolism because your body doesn't know. You have to always think that inside your body, it's built for survival. So if it thinks there's only 500 calories coming in and it's been that way for 6 months, it's going to shut things down. It's going to slow your thyroid down. It's going to be hard on the adrenal system. Our adrenal systems are shot because of nowadays, right? So that impact starts to take its toll. So what you want to do is you can utilize the ketogenic diet therapeutically for a short period of time to, reverse insulin resistance quite quickly. It works great for that. But as soon as you do that, within a couple of months, even if not shorter, as soon as you can, you want to start cycling in your carbohydrates, because if not, that's what's going to happen to your body, and it's going to now not be therapeutic anymore, and it's going to be damaging to the system, period.
I had a great doctor who I used to run these certified practitioner workshops with early on, Dr. Diana Schwartzbein, who always said you need to, and I told her at the time, I go, that's such an unpopular statement. But she said, she would often have people gain weight to lose weight. And she said, you have to get healthy to lose weight, not lose weight to get healthy. And that's what it strikes me. I'm hoping we'll get to a point that we understand that diets should be used short-term and therapeutically, right?
Yes.
And so you shift in and out. And that when you're making those shifts, your weight might go up a little bit in the transition to getting healthier. And that is not a cause for freak out, because of that, because the other one's not sustainable. So how do you deal with people? Because I'm assuming as when you're taking them through this, that there would be times when their weight's going to come up a little bit, which is normal. And then, it's like when you really look at weight loss, it would be short-term therapeutic diet, learn something, shift, go into regular eating patterns, healthy eating, stabilize, go down, and so you go through these cycles. But women who are addicted to seeing the numbers drop on the scale or et cetera, how do you work with them through this where they might see the numbers go up a little bit or not move at all so they don't freak?
Well, and also if you've been going low carb for a really long time, throwing back in carbohydrates will instantly make you gain weight. You'll be overly sensitive to them. So if you've been in it for a long time, you literally have to start with adding it in, at one meal at a time, at putting those carbohydrates back in. Maybe once a week, you would just have a sweet potato at dinner, and then you would, go up to 2 nights a week. You really do have to work on that slowly. Now, this applies to all diets out there. Your body loves homeostasis. It's always going to adjust to what you're doing, right? So that's why diets work so great usually in the beginning, and then they stop working. So it's not just low carb diets. We're just seeing it more now with the low carb diets. I think it's more extreme. So the trick is to constantly have your body guessing what you're doing. So you want to heal that metabolism. If you've come so far the other way, you want to slowly add in the carbohydrates to a couple times a week so you can start to rev up that metabolism again. And then you can have that balance. If you haven't been doing that and you're just following a clean, healthy diet, you want to do the calorie cycling. It's calorie cycling. It's food variation. It's you can even eat to your cycle. I tell a lot of women, like, just listen to your body and where you are in the month, because I can fast no problem when I get my period. I could fast every day till 2:00 if I really wanted to. When I'm a week before my period, forget it. Not going to happen. I want to eat carbohydrates. That's when I'm eating more of the potato, more sweet potato, more fruits. I'm not into protein as much. Like, you can really listen. And that just automatically then gives you the diet variation so that your body can't get used to what you're doing. So you take advantage of calorie restriction, the weight loss that comes with calorie restriction, through fasting, through lower carb, lower calorie diets. Some people can go low fat and it works just as well as low carb.
I will tell you, I used to work out at the Pritikin Center way back when as a personal trainer, and the same thing we see with low carb over time happened with low fat.
It's
the
totally
exact same thing. You would see people come in the first month, it was amazing. And then all of a sudden their blood sugar shot up, their triglycerides shot up. It was like, poof,
Yeah.
So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So it just makes sense when you really start to think about how would we have eaten as hunter gatherers, right? If we're going to go back to that, then how would we would have fasted and we would have feasted. We would have come across like a crop of strawberries or a bunch of mangoes and digging up the
During the
tubers. And then in
summer.
the winter,
Yeah, during the
and
summer.
then in the winter, you would eat more protein, more animal fats, things like that, maybe not as much. So naturally, we weren't in ketosis all year round. Ketosis, being able to
Unless we
burn
were starving.
ketones, was a survival mechanism that the body had to have in order to survive in case there wasn't a lot of food around. But preferentially, we want the sugar, we want the carbohydrates. So finding that balance, and it works so well. So when I say cycling, I mean, some days you'll be down to the 500 calories and, maybe just have lunch and dinner and fast until lunch one day. And then the next day, eat breakfast, lunch, dinner with some carbohydrates in it, and basically be shifting your body. And each person is going to look different. If you're insulin resistant, you may need to fast more and have less of those higher carb days. And adjust as your body goes along. If you've got adrenal issues, you don't want to be fasting all the time because you're going to lose more of the cortisol. It's going to be hard on the adrenal system as well as your thyroid. Your thyroid and adrenals love sugar, period.
So we have a quiz that you're giving everybody that's going to help them figure out what they should be eating. Yes? Tell me about the hormone quiz.
So it comes with the hormone quiz is a really comprehensive hormone quiz that will help you identify what hormones could be impacting your weight. And then in that email funnel, you're going to get my 2-week hormone and metabolic reboot meal plan, which is exactly what we've talked about today. And this is a carb cycling, calorie cycling meal plan that's low inflammatory. It's a paleo-based, keto-based meal plan.
Cool. So I'm going to put that at jjvirgin.com/variety because that's really what we've been talking about is how to create variations in your diet so your body doesn't adapt and get stuck. So we'll put that there. I super appreciate that. And I appreciate your time today too. And I'm very excited about everything you've been talking about. I've been in the weight loss field now for 30 years. And, like I've always had clients teaching me. And this is where I've come to is like this exact same thing. I think we're all going, okay. It is just ridiculous. But again, this is why I want to get this information out because I still see people out there talking. In fact, I was in the Bahamas with one of my best friends, Dave Asprey, and we were sitting at a table with someone. I go, do you not know who you're sitting with? Because the person was saying, yeah, it's just calories in, calories out. And I thought, Dave and I are looking over going,
it's not.
I was like, wow. Like, I think we were just like, I don't even know what to say with this, but it's still out there.
It is.
And I thought this, like he has no idea who he's sitting next to. It was pretty funny. Anyway, so I'm going to put all that again, grab that quiz that will get you those meal plans. That sounds amazing. And that's jjvirgin.com/variety. Thank you so much for gifting all of that to everyone listening. And thank you so much for taking time to be with me today. I super appreciate it.
Thanks, JJ.
All right. Now, after the break, I'm going to give you some top takeaways to put into immediate action. So stay with me.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
All righty, welcome back. So this is where I give you your marching orders. And here's the thing. So you are the founder and CEO of your healthcare. You are your body best, right? So what's really important is to really start to understand first of all, what feeling good really feels like. That's the first part. And then what is your normal, so that if things shift for you, you can understand. Because one of the things I like to do with all of my programs, and I've built all my programs to help you really go through a discovery process so that you can help identify at this time with these goals, what do you need to be doing? I believe diet should be used therapeutically to find a result. Like with the Virgin diet, we take you through that to figure out your hidden food intolerances, figuring out which foods work for you and which foods don't. For sugar impact, really gets you to be metabolically flexible, a hybrid, so you can burn fat, burn sugar, and burn ketones, and see really where you're best with carbohydrates. And then if you do want to cycle in ketogenic diet, how to do it if you're doing intermittent fasting, etc. But again, just like what you heard today, these things are all built into cycles, and then you pull in the things so that you're eating healthy on a regular basis. So what that means is you really want to get clear on what's my normal? How do I feel? So that if there's a shift in your sleep, your bowel movements, your mood, you're going to go, all right, what's going on? Did something shift in my hormones? Because those are a moving target, right? Or did something shift in my diet or my environment? Maybe I got exposed to mold, maybe I've got a new stressor. So all these things are critical. Now, I love the quiz. So I'm going to say, go grab that quiz from Karen at jjvirgin.com/variety to help you on that self-identification process. Okay, one more quick ask. If you've not yet done it, rate and review. It helps us a ton. It's a big shout out for all the team. And then I can shout you out too on the next show. So make sure you put your name in there as well. All right. See you next time. Bye.